Hi, we're back. We're on the road to BIDEM 2020, a conference that will be taking place in Toronto from October 13th to 15th, 2020. The theme is Connecting the Roots, Building Networks Together for Profit and Purpose. And today we are having a wonderful conversation with Dr. Tamu Brown, who is based in St. Kitts. And I understand it's not that sunny today, which is unusual, but we'll talk about that a little bit. Now, Dr. Tamu Brown is a specialist in innovative education and training solutions, and she is the founder of Innovative Education and Training Solutions and Coaching by Tamu. So welcome, Dr. Tamu Brown.
Thank you for having me and Thornley-Brown.
I wonder if there's a distant connection there. You never know.
I believe so. You never know.
Compare our DNA, you know. Now, your name is very intriguing, Tamu. I have not come across that before. Can you tell us a little bit about your name and the meaning and how you got it?
Sure. So I get that a lot. And my name means sweet in Yoruba. And of course, you know, my mom, like all moms, thought I was going to be the sweetest person in the world. And so she gave me that name. I don't know if I've lived up to that sweetness, but yes, it is a name that stands out, and it is a name that has a lot of meaning and connectedness with that African part of me.
Absolutely. Now, have you done your DNA to see if you have any Yoruba roots?
You know, I have not, so I really should do that. Wouldn't that be an interesting coincidence?
It certainly would be. So that would be interesting, wouldn't it? And once you've done your DNA, we'll touch bases because genealogy is one of my passions. So let's talk a little bit about your business. Tell us more about what you specialize in.
Well, Innovative Education and Training Solutions, we began in 2012, and we began as an alternative pathway to learning for Caribbean learners in particular, so that they could learn, study online and via email for their Caribbean certifications, their advanced placements, and the like.
So do you have clients throughout the Caribbean?
Yes, so I have clients, learners from all over the Caribbean, from as far south as Trinidad and as far north as Jamaica, and of course, St. Kitts and Nevis and all in between. However, while that has been going on, I was pursuing my doctorate, and I've always been interested in the intersection of tech and entrepreneurship all the time. And so I studied technology entrepreneurship. And while doing that doctorate, I began working as part of my thesis with women in the United States who had received millions of dollars in funding for tech-leveraged companies. And so this desire to work with women in the Caribbean and eventually the Caribbean diaspora to grow their ventures, you know, just began to well up in me.
Became a passion.
So it became a passion because there's a lot of work in the Caribbean for micro businesses and a lot of work on small business continuity, but not much work in growth. How do we move the micro to the small? How do we move the small to the medium? And so that's where I saw my niche. So Coaching by Tamu was born, and Coaching by Tamu seeks to work with Caribbean women in particular to grow and innovate their ventures so that they can meet the demands of regional and international markets.
Now your session at BIDEM will be from side hustling to scaling your venture. So what are one or two tips that you can give people to do that, particularly now in a coronavirus-laden environment?
Yes. So the first tip I'll give is if you don't have a side hustle, you need one, especially in this COVID environment. But if you are already side hustling, and you want to begin to scale, the first thing that you really need to do is that fundamental business model piece. So sometimes we're doing business, but we're not doing business with any strategy. And we often think that because our businesses are small, that strategy is a word and a process for the bigger business. But if you think about it,
it's actually more important for small businesses.
It is, because there's so many variables that affect small businesses, and you really have to begin to find your niche. The next step that I'll give is, or tip that I'll give, is that if you are side hustling and want to scale, you need to validate your idea first in the market. You have to try it out before investing.
How do you go about validating your idea in the market?
Well, you validate by coming up with a very basic idea of your product or service, and you test it out on who you assume your target market will be, whether that's through research or through observation, at the price point you think that they will buy it at. And you do something very bare bones. You do not want at this point to be going to the bank and taking out a huge loan, especially in these COVID times, to invest in an untested idea. I always tell everyone, business is like singing in the shower, that proverbial singing in the shower. You think you're Whitney Houston, right? Rest in peace. Yeah. But really you're not. And so similarly, your business idea is often only great in your mind. It takes the testing of the market to tell you if you are on point and where you need to shift, to pivot, to modify. And so that should be done before you begin attempting to invest big bucks and now having to owe the bank every month.
I know I watch Shark Tank sometimes, and they often say, pay attention to what the market is telling you. And sometimes the market is telling you, you know what, you don't have a business, or there just isn't a demand for your business. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Thornley-Brown from St. Kitts. And you told me it's not so sunny in St. Kitts today. What's going on there?
Well, you know, it is the hurricane season. We have been blessed that we have not had any hurricanes because we can't take anything else. We already have COVID. Yeah. So it's been very gloomy the past couple of days, but we're happy because the heat previously has been record breaking, well over 30 degrees Celsius daily. So we're happy for the coolness.
Yes, I guess it's similar to Toronto. One day it's hot, the next day it's cold. And sometimes we have hot and cold on the same day. But if you're streaming in live to BIDEM 2020, you're not going to experience any of those changes in temperature, but you will experience fabulous content like what Dr. Thornley-Brown will be providing and our wonderful other speakers. So join us, BIDEM 2020, October 13th to 15th, streaming from Toronto to the world. Just a reminder, the theme is connecting the roots, building networks together for profit and purpose. And if you're curious about what BIDEM stands for, it's Bridged High Impact Diaspora Entrepreneurs to Efficient Diaspora Markets. BIDEM is brought to you by the Community of Practice for Caribbean Immigrant Entrepreneurs and Maggot Wild Horse Limited. See you then. Thank you very much, Dr. Brown.
Thank you.